This pay to play over here is crazy. If you really invest in it, you can create some fantastic people and potentially some footballers out of that.
Yeah.
Why not start the journey in an iron bound?
We are on stage at the Stand Comedy Club, the owner of which, Chris Italia, happens to be a massive West Ham fan. We brought this up on the show before.
Yeah, so I mean, he reminds us every time we see him. So
especially if West Ham beats Arsenal. Oh, I can't.
Exactly.
I can't even pick up the phone when this guy calls. And then we had an opportunity to say, why don't we bring in someone we've had on the show before who's connected to West Ham, happens to be in New York. We'd love to talk to him for a little bit, see all the cool stuff he's doing in New York and New Jersey. He's talking to kids and, you know, learning how to play soccer better. You got this legend walking in. He's having a good time. I said, why don't you come here and let's feed you some real food. You're from England. We had this conversation.
Yeah. So just a little, this is a part two.
Yeah,
this is sequel to our first interview.
And no ice skating needed here. The one, the only West Ham legend. Honored to have you here, Anton Ferdinand, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes, the last time we spoke was just like essentially over like a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Now that you see us in person, is it one of those like, wow, they're taller than I thought, or
fatter?
What's your first impression?
I mean, you have put on some weight. That's what I'm saying. Dad.
My first impressions was the camera is kind.
Okay.
No,
good.
I'm joking.
We put Vaseline on the lens.
I'm joking.
You got to make us look better.
No, yeah, I mean, usually whenever we meet footballers, retired or not, that's usually our first person. Like, okay, yeah, this guy's is a proper footballer. You know what I mean? I don't know what the exact game shape you were in prior. Now you're in ice skating shape. Yeah. Still look incredibly fit. You're doing fine. But that's always whenever I stand next to Premier League footballers who play that at that high level, I look at my height. I'm like, I could have done it. I'm the opposite. I'm that delusional.
I dapped up and I was like, there's no way I'm getting around this guy. There's just no way. That's why I like the Spanish footballers. They're my height. You know what I mean?
When I come in, you went, I'm just trying to get to your retirement weight.
Yeah.
That's when I was
That's
like,
my goal weight is his retirement weight.
My goal weight is your retirement weight. I was like, what?
If an alien came to this table right now, and they know nothing about England, they know nothing about football, they know nothing about anything, and they ask you, what does it mean when you say West Ham is massive? Can you just define it? Because there is no definition.
There is no definition because we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're getting more and more massive. So there isn't actually a definition to what it is. But I think the fact that we've won the Conference League.
Yeah, huge.
You know, what European trophy have you won?
You must be talking to somebody about it.
Okay. Well, you know, but also our fan base is massive. You know, we're over here trying to broaden it and get out there in America and really allow people to understand what us as a football club is about. And we like to do it authentically like that, rather than just putting stuff in people's faces and going, we're West Ham. No, we want to be a part of the community. We want to immerse ourselves in the community. So because that's what we do in England.
Right. Are you surprised at the love that West Ham already has here in this country?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I knew West Ham was massive a long time ago. When I came to America on a weekend that I wasn't meant to come here, and there was an American fan in the nightclub that I was in.
Okay.
And they went on the vlog sites, the West Ham fan sites, and said, I've just come from Anton Ferdinand's party in South Carolina. It was unbelievable. And he was pissed. and
you're like, yo, stop blowing up my spine.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And it got me in trouble.
Yeah.
But that's when I actually really realized West Ham is massive.
It might be too massive.
Exactly. And this was, we're talking like nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now
you know? And not just that, I think as a former player of West Ham and a supporter of West Ham, I everywhere I go in the world, I always bump into West Ham fans.
Sure.
You know, look, walked into the stand.
Right. Yeah.
Owner's a West Ham fan. You know, so it's like everywhere in the world I go, I always run into West Ham fans, and the love always feels the same.
Right.
You know, which tells you that all West Ham fans who become West Ham fans and I've met West Ham fans and fans that go to the game at the London Stadium or back in the day when it was Upton Park, they've embodied the football club because I feel the same love.
Right.
You know, and that for me is where I determine how massive the football club is is for me as an ex-player how I'm treated. And it's not like I can go to the Far East and the love feels different to what it does when I go to a home game at the London Stadium. Right. It's exactly the same, which tells you people that are fans of West Ham United embody the culture and the family-orientated vibe of the football club, because the love never changes. Yeah. For me personally.
Even if you don't speak the same language.
100%.
Football is a language.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm like, it really, that tells me how big the football club is.
I love that. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this. I was reaching out. One of our video editors is also a big West Ham fan. He told me to ask you about, especially now since we're in the championship playoff. But you had gotten West Ham promoted in that championship playoff as well. Can you just talk a little bit about those matches, playing at Wembley and getting West Ham back in the Premier League?
My game actually wasn't at Wembley. My game was in Cardiff.
Oh, okay.
Stadium. But I'll tell you now, I felt more pressure in the playoff final than I did the year later in the FA Cup final.
Wow.
And the reason
why is that? Because you're not the first player to intimate that the playoffs are a level of pressure that you may never feel again.
You know what it is? So when I played in it, it was like a £50 million game. Now it's like
at that time that was
and then we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's in like the 250s, 300. It could be more.
It's crazy. We need to get in this game.
so that's not to the players, that's to the club.
I need to own a club.
You know, so it was like it's and
oh wow, there's more.
And not just that, because I'm a West Ham fan.
Thank you. Bacon, egg, and cheese pizza.
Oh, nice. Nice. Is it the right time to tell you that I don't eat pork? No, I'm joking.
I do.
But because I'm a West Ham fan, and I was in the club from 9 years old. A lot of the people who work in the club, and again, we talk about the football club as being a family-orientated football club. The heartbeat of the football club are the people that have been there for years. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them people, they watched me grow up from 9 to now being 18, 19 in the first team.
Right.
So they watched me grow up. But when you get relegated from the Premier League, for 2 years, you get parachute payments, so you get help.
Yeah. Right.
You get like a parachute payment, which helps you with your finances, because obviously the finances drop so much from the Premier League to the Championship. That year, the parachute payments were stopping.
Wow.
So if we hadn't gone up that year, a lot of people that watched me grow up would have lost their job.
Mm. Oh, a lot of them at the club.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, and I knew that. So the pressure I had that I took on wasn't the football.
Right.
It was the livelihoods of the people who work for the football club, the heartbeat of the football club, which makes our club what it is. Their livelihood depending on us. You know, so I took that into the game.
Okay.
You know, which
do you think about that during the game, or is that like
not during the game? Not during the game. Like the once you get into the final,
right.
That whole time up until like probably the day before the game, I had them thoughts in my mind.
Right. Just imagine putting a tackle. That's for Stacey, the secretary.
No. Let's put it straight. The manager weren't thinking that.
Okay.
Of course not. I was thinking. You know, like, and players that grew up in the squad, like Mark Noble, who was he didn't play on the day, but he was in the squad.
Yeah.
Like, and not just that, I was quite vocal in the change room, so I made sure lads knew, like, come on, we got to win this game. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to win this game. This is for Shirley the cook, for Jimmy Frith, who was always at the training ground. He was like somebody who, like, if you needed another pair of boots, your molds or your studs, or he'd just be on the sideline, do you want a water?
Yeah.
He was that guy.
Damn,
you know?
he was always around, yeah.
It was for them type of people. And
do you think about like the guys that are like famous? It was what? The guy who used to stand on the ladder and give out the programs just outside Upton Park. There's also like pie shops that are famous for the fans.
Yeah.
You think about all of that as you're going into the game? Or
no, because they will always be there.
Yeah. Like, if they're loud enough, you'll see them.
The fan base will always be there.
Yeah.
That's why you never ever hear a player who came through the academy at West Ham ever talk about that, like, or act like the club, they're bigger than the club or bigger than the support, because the supporters will always be there.
Right.
And you that gets drilled into you as an academy player, you know. So then people, it was just more the day-to-day running of the football club in the training ground where we were every day.
Everything that makes the club
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's where a lot of the pressure came from. I could have just not had the pressure and gone, but it also played a part in my performance because the bigger the pressure, the more focused I was. So it was like, wow, like it's time to go to work.
Wrexham is probably a big topic of conversation. What are your thoughts on the rise all the way to the championship? You know how hard it is to get from the championship to the Premier League. Do you have an idea of when you think they might get promoted? If you had to guess, do you think it'll be just as easy as it was to get from League Two to championship?
No. The championship is a very, very difficult league. They've done fantastic to get to it. What is it? 5 promotions in 5 years. You know, so to get to that within 5 years is fantastic.
It's almost unheard of. Almost,
that is unheard, but that is success in its own. You know, but let's not beat around the bush here. Like going from the championship to the Premier League is difficult. You know, you just got to look at the how many Premier League teams are actually in the championship now. You know, so the level is high. It's going to be difficult.
And they got the parachute money.
But exactly. But if anyone can do it, it's them.
Sure.
You know?
All right.
And what a story that is. That's another Netflix.
If they do it in 1 year, would you be surprised by that? If they do it in 1 year, if they go from championship to Premier League this next season, would you be surprised by that?
Yeah, I will be. However, like I said, if anyone can do it, it's them.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone can do it, that's them. And it's nice to see that someone's come and taken a club that was really in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why it's for me personally, it's a special situation because, as I said, I'm community driven. The football club that I support and love and played for is community driven. So to see how they've come into that community in Wrexham and really uplifted it and taken it from being on its knees to now absolutely thriving, and the businesses around there in that area will be thriving now. So it's just fantastic to see and say like what I know through football and what football can do for the community through West Ham, I see it in Wrexham.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that just comparing it to American sports is that we don't really have that specific story of this struggling club, struggling organization that gets to the top and you know lifts up the town at the same time. Like we just don't have that. Like literally the billionaires that own all the franchises, all the like even fans that like when even Americans pick up a Premier League club, like there's still there's a genuine, even if they're picking up Manchester United or whatever, there's still the possibility of Manchester United getting relegated. There's still an emotional connection that we don't.
He's an Everton fan if he can't.
But
I remember that. Right. I remember that.
But even that, there's just that particular storyline that you can connect.
I challenge that though.
Okay.
I challenge that, and the reason why I challenge that, and the reason why what you said is triggered something in me there, because I went to Ironbound yesterday. They could help there. They really could help there. They really could. Okay, if you're not going to have that success story of going from the Conference League all the way into the Premier League, what you can do is for a community like where Ironbound is, you can create some fantastic people and potentially some footballers out of that if you really invest in it. If you really invest in it, and that's where the success story is.
Yeah, I agree there.
And I don't think that happens enough here.
I agree.
If I'm being honest.
I think
that's because we focus a lot of our commercial efforts on what's already successful.
Exactly.
Okay, but who are the best commercially driven people? Who are the most viable in terms of commercials?
Who?
Players that have come from
So
athletes that have come from down here to there.
Yeah.
Why not start the journey in an Ironbound?
And
capture that.
So we have that connection with the players themselves, but usually not with the organization, not with a club. Like so, Ironbound. That's the club is because there's no promotion relegation. There is almost a cap, a limit on how collectively they can inspire.
Also, I think the parents' interest is to get the kid in a good high school and then get a free college because college is so expensive.
Right.
College is over $100,000. So the thought is, I hope they make it into this senior team, like maybe in England. Here it's, I hope they go to college for free. Because then they could maybe, if the sports don't work out, maybe they blow their knee out junior year, then they can supply us with a nice house or whatever. But I think there is maybe some of that, but I don't think you see it at that level. And I think you're right. I think there's more. I question sometimes why an American would go and buy a team in England and like, bro, look at all the talent we have here. Then there are obviously some people that own teams here. But there's also a second first division that USL has just applied for. Yeah. And they're voting in promotion relegation. So maybe there is a chance for an Ironbound to get to the top of that league. It's a little different than MLS, but maybe they can get to the top of that.
Cool.
Maybe you could see some of those kids.
But the alternative is to promote from within rather than, let's not look at a club getting there. Let's look at a bunch of youngsters get in there. And let's use places like Ironbound, where the finances isn't great.
No.
You know?
And the commercial opportunities are not great.
100%. Yeah. You know, so like this pay to play over here is crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're trying our hardest on this podcast.
We agree.
We're trying our hardest on this podcast.
Now that you've had a chance to try some of the food, try maybe something else that you haven't had.
This got to be at least better than any comedy club.
Yeah, let us know what you think so far.
It's good. I'm ready for my stand-up show now, though.
Yeah? Oh, you haven't been laughing this whole time?
I mean, to perform or to watch?
To perform.
Okay.
You want to perform?
Yeah.
You think you got 5 in you?
No. I might have. You know, I'd heckle people. I would be like on people.
Super aggressive.
Rather than be the person that's like just delivers a joke. That's not me, man.
That's not you?
But if I see something happening in the crowd, I might jump on it and go like, you know like that Martin Lawrence type thing, like in Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
Is the idea of performing stand-up, is that nerve-wracking or scary? I know a lot of footballers kind of say this as well, that the idea of being in front of a crowd and telling jokes is kind of a scary idea.
Yeah, no chance.
No, really?
No chance.
I mean, the idea of standing on a pitch against professional footballers.
Yeah. I find it nerve-wracking standing in front. Like when I went to Washington Elementary yesterday, standing up and talking in front of all them children, that's nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah.
It really is. But again, when we was talking about earlier about talking about soft skills that I learned through football, when I'm standing on the side getting ready to go out and speak, the nerves that I feel there are the same nerves that I feel when I was in Upton Park's the tunnel, getting ready to go out.
Really?
But I've got a way of dealing with that that I learned over the years.
Yeah.
I use that same thing as I'm coming out.
Yeah.
But the difference is now I've got to stand up and talk and deliver vocally, and I'm not always as confident doing that. Whereas football, I've done it since I was like when I come out of my mum's womb. So
So why don't we do this? You're coming back to the New York, New Jersey area, right, for the summer tour. Why don't we link up with our homie Andrew Mensah?
100%.
Why don't we get him to maybe help you out with a couple of jokes? You gotta write them, but he'll help you structure them. And then when you come back, you come to the Stand Comedy Club. Chris, you here? Come up here for a second.
You like that? This is too much pressure.
If you're willing to skate in front of television cameras, there's no chance.
You know what? I'd rather do that. I'd rather take you skating.
Bring your skates if it makes you feel comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Italia, the owner of this stand. Yeah, you're already on your camera. This is your camera. We're going to get our friend Anton to learn a type 5. Is there any chance that when they come back for the summer tour, he can be on this very stage and run that 5?
Wow.
Okay.
Will you do it?
If you're accompanying me and helping me,
We'll be here.
We'll be your coaches.
I do not want to get heckled, man.
Oh my God, what's gonna happen with you?
Just don't let Alexis write it for
you. You don't want to do too good, is what he's saying.
Okay. I'll try. But no, I think we should go ice skating though as well.
Huh?
Well, I skate already, so I'm happy to.
All right.
Bro, I hope you've got physios with you. If you want this ain't as soft as it looks when it hits the ground. All right, done.
All right.
You heard it here first.
Let's
Anton Ferdinand will be doing a Type 5 on this very stage by the time the summer tour comes. Andrew.
It'll be a bucket list thing. I think it'll be really cool. It'll be nice to see Everton face West Ham in the Premier League Summer Series.
Yeah. Are you coming?
Yeah. I'll be at those games. Yeah. It's going to be great.
He may not be wearing a West Ham shirt for that game.
No. If you're not, I'm just letting you know, if you're not wearing a West Ham kit, if you're not wearing a West Ham top, right?
Okay.
Don't come and say hello to me.
All right.
I'm going to walk past you like I don't know you.
For those 90 minutes, yeah.
Do you see the look in his face? That was.
You see
that
the
was
see,
serious.
see how
That
serious I
was-
was.
Like, I thought, did someone blow a whistle? Did Max try to hit the switch?
I was about to back the See, that's my. I've just done my
Yeah,
five.
you're crushing
I've
it.
just done my five.
You're starting it. We got to work on it. Don't worry. We need a real audience. I
just
cannot
done
wait
my
for this,
five.
bro. I'm so excited.
Are you wearing West Ham kit?
Huh?
Hey.
I just heard what you said to him. I might plead the fifth on that one.
In saying that,
It's my West Ham tattoo. Anton. We're cool.
What you talking about?
if I kill it in there and I get a sign over, you gotta get tattooed.
You know what? If you do your five, I will wear a West Ham kit. I'll go out and get one, and I will wear it, and I'll perform
You ain't
on
gotta
stage
get
with it.
one.
Huh?
You haven't gotta get one.
I don't know one.
You ain't gotta get one.
Actually, no.
You ain't gotta get
Timing
one.
is impeccable. Comedy's all about timing.
Oh, you ain't gotta get one.
Look at
Look at
this.
this.
What?
Yeah?
This is incredible. This
For the
is
man himself.
too kind. Thank you so much.
I will be wearing this on stage if you do your five. How
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
that's the right thing
Okay.
to do. That's the right thing to
No
do.
problem. There's two there. There's two, man.
Anton, thank you so much.
No
man.
problem,
This is so
man.
cool.
Beautiful. Hey, there's real badges too. They didn't give us the bootleg.
You know why? Again, because we're massive.
Yeah, that's what it meant.
There you go. We're massive. That's
Well,
what we do.
Anton, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the food. Shout out to the stand, Chris Itali, also
He's taking
massive.
pictures like he's
Yeah,
like he's you when Mateo's playing.
You're doing great, sweetie. You know? But this has been an absolute honor, and to get to do this in a comedy club is actually a very unique thing, and it's always an honor for us to bring footballers into the world that we're in stand-up comedy.
And this is
so,
probably the most relaxed we've ever been on a comedy stage.
yeah,
This is
there's
nice.
usually a lot more pressure than this.
Yeah.
But Anton, thank you so much, and obviously
problem, man.
Absolute honor.
best of luck to West Ham for the rest of the season and Premier League Summer Series.
Yeah,
So
we're when's this going out?
pretty
Pretty
soon,
soon.
I assume. Yeah.
Next
Tonight?
week or two?
No,
Oh,
not tonight.
okay,
Not tonight.
okay,
Probably like next
I was
week.
gonna plug. We're doing a watch along tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We'll mention it.
You know
We'll
what?
mention it on
We'll put it
socials.
We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that out for you.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, Anton Ferdinand, absolute honor.
And maybe
man.
we'll find a way to get some of the fans that you have here in the States. Maybe a few of them
Oh yeah,
can
you
come
come.
watch you perform stand-up.
100%.
All right,
Maybe we'll do a little something. That'd be crazy.
I might be singing, guys, instead of doing
Do they do
stand-up.
karaoke?
Yeah, I signed up for a Journey. Don't stop believing. Why am I doing
If all fails,
Yeah, you start belting out too.
if all fails,
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to
just
not let it go. To that.
if all fails,
Yeah.
just bring me some cherries. I might usher it.
Thank you so much, brother. Cheers, man.
Nice one, thank you.
Hey, that is just a piece of this incredible interview. Thank you, Anton Ferdinand, for doing that. If you want to see the rest of it, go to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/soccercooligans. Head over there right now.